Hello, Aliana here with my number-free review of Uncharted Lost Legacy single-player campaign. There is a rather extensive multiplayer component to this game that I am not covering now because this is before the embargo and lifts, and therefore I have no one to play with. Maybe we can find a way to get together and play somehow. Anyway, what is going on with Uncharted Lost Legacy, the standalone DLC of Uncharted 4? Well, it's a Naughty Dog game, so the graphics are predictably amazing. However, there is an HDR mode that I used because I happen to have an HDR capable TV, and my god, you think these non-HDR graphics that I'm showing you here look amazing? The game is night and day in HDR mode. It is astounding how good everything looks. However, some of the shading and some of the facial animations look a little not quite there, a little uncanny valley in HDR, and I think that's because it is just so crisp and so precise that they still have a bit of refining to do. Similarly, audio, again, it's Naughty Dog, so you expect it to be good. If I have a criticism, is it gets a little cluttered in places, but that's a quibble. It's immersive, it's not overdone. The music, though sparing, I would have liked some more local music, but it's well used and well mixed. So let's just spare us some time because we expect it to look and sound great. How does it play? Best I can describe it is Uncharted 4 Light. The puzzles are interestingly conceived, but not difficult. And the gameplay is about what you'd expect. There's a lot of grappling hook, there's a lot of climbing, there's some shooty shoot. The combat is not my favorite part of it. It feels made for multiplayer, and in that it is just bullet sprays and really big maps. It lacks the elegance of some of those cool stealth optional, but you probably should areas that were rather extended in Uncharted 4 and previous Uncharted games, so be prepared for that. It's my least favorite part of the experience. There are some parts that are deliberate sort of shoot 'em up running guns. Those are okay, but that's not what Uncharted does well. The reason to keep coming back to this franchise is that exploration component. Even with combat, if you can avoid straight up shoot 'em ups, do it, especially on the harder difficulties. I am playing on hard mode here. I played it first through on moderate. You get pasted if you try to go toe-to-toe. So if you get detected, pick off a few people, run back to an undetected part. If you can't, go back in stealth. It's not the quickest way through, but you die a lot less on harder difficulty modes. But like I said, the best part is the exploration. This game is pretty. It's so pretty. But then we get to the issues with the story. The best way I can describe the story is it's there. On the bright side, we get Chloe Fraser. Yay! Chloe is amazing. There's one problem though. She's a tomb-raiding brunette with a Ponzi accent and daddy issues. And there's not enough making her distinct from Lara Croft. Now, Chloe's adventures in Lost Legacy are a lot more fun than Lara's relatively dreary last two outings. However, couldn't they come up with a different story for a brown-haired, ponytailed female protagonist? I think a big thing that's going on is that this franchise is still lacking Amy Hennig's snap. There are parts, especially later in the game, when the dialogue picks up, but the early levels are a slog. And a big part of the reason why is that the game is saddled once again with the character Nadine Ross. I do not like Nadine Ross. I will never like Nadine Ross. She's cardboard. She's wooden. They don't seem to have a real handle on what makes the character tick. She has the emotional swings of a 14-year-old girl, and she just reeks of token status. The whole reason for her to be in this game seems to be because she's a black woman. And she's a black woman with absolutely fantastic shoulders and really cool muscular arms, but that doesn't make for a good character. So because Chloe and Nadine lack chemistry, there's a little kid in the early levels who has more chemistry with Chloe than Nadine does. The opening levels of the game are something of a slog. If you are prepared to go through 8 to 12 hours of kind of pretty but blah, or really pretty but blah story, then it opens up after you clear this very strange kind of quasi open world portion that you're seeing here. Don't worry, this isn't the structure of the whole game. Once you clear this, and I highly recommend doing that kind of optional "what's this? Check it for later" mission, because it really helps you collect some stuff later on. But once you get past that, the game opens up into the Uncharted bona fides that we expect. Almost too much that we expect. What Lost Legacy lacks in originality, it makes up for in sheer majesty. It's pretty. It's so pretty. So if you're a fan of the game franchise, it is worth the $50. It's not a full price. It's $50 standalone DLC. It is eventually worth the money. In places, is more fun than Uncharted 4. But in other places, it really drags. Now, the things that are not great about the game are made up for in the parts that are really good about the game. But overall, it feels like in places they put, yay, girl power, above actual good storytelling that actually did the characters justice. The only time Chloe and Nadine bond in the early stages of the game is when they're bashing men, and that really put me off. Once they really have a problem to solve and a mid-game twist makes the cast click, then it's much better. So I'm warning you, so you'll get more enjoyment out of the game, prepared for that to kind of hit you in the face for the early rounds, because, oh man, it's pretty. It's so pretty.